You know, today I feel like I'm on top of the world. Mr. Mufara came on last Thursday and he did a webinar. And I've been listening to Ash for 3.5 years, and I've never heard Ash give so much information on one webinar. It was absolutely epic. And when I started to think about that term epic, and I love that word, it's very, very descriptive. It just wasn't enough to describe what Ash shared with us. I'm going to go over a few things that Ash talked about, but before I do that, I want to paint you a picture just very, very quickly. If you've ever climbed a mountain on the East Coast or in the Rocky Mountains, and by the way, the mountains on the East Coast we call hills. But if you've ever been to Colorado and climbed a 14,000 foot mountain, and when you get up at the top, it is just awe-inspiring. If you've never seen God's great creation, climb a 14,000 footer and then look around. It is unbelievably spectacular. And I recommend everybody do that. When I think about what Mr. Mufar was sharing with us last Thursday, he just didn't take us up to a 14,000 footer, which is unbelievable. He took us on the top of Mount Everest, which is 28,000 feet. It was a calm day. It was clear. You could see forever. And Mr. Mufara, he shared everything with us. There is not a serious question you can ask after last Thursday that Mr. Mufara did not answer. It was phenomenal listening to him talk for the time that webinar went. And as I think about it, I think about what Mr. Mufara has shared with us. It's beyond words. I can't describe the impact that it had on me. It really was breathtaking. It took me a day or so to catch my breath looking at what he shared with us and knowing where we're at and where ONPASSIVE is. It was just truly unbelievable. And I'm hearing this from a few people. It's like we went to the top of Everest, then we came down to the bottom, and you hear an individual talking, and he said, well, it was okay. The site was all right. And then you hear that they really didn't get to the top, and they're describing a view that they did not see. Now, here's what's going to be happening with ONPASSIVE, and take this to heart. If you're climbing a 14,000 footer, or you're climbing Everest, and you can't quite get to the top, that's okay. Because Mr. Mufara is going to come behind you with his team. He is going to pick you up. He's going to take you to the top of that mountain, and you will see the whole panorama view that's out there. Mr. Mufara, last Thursday, he gave us everything. Even if you didn't hear it, it was there. Every serious question you'll have about ONPASSIVE was in last Thursday's webinar. It was there. And he answered every question that I ever had or will have. He even answered questions that he probably shouldn't be talking about, but he's the CEO. He can talk about whatever he wants. But he gave us little hints of what's coming. And what's coming is going to be even better than the AI IT tools of ONPASSIVE, the digital launch of ONPASSIVE to the global market. It was awesome what he had to talk about. The first thing I want to go over that I heard in the webinar, and you have to understand, Ash Mufara, he was on fire. He was loaded for bear, and he was taking no prisoners. As you think about ONPASSIVE, and you're participating with ONPASSIVE, if you have something in the back of your mind, a question that you can't get answered, and you think in your wisdom you need to come on and tell the world what ONPASSIVE isn't doing for you, don't do it. Ash Mufara takes his responsibilities very, very seriously. His responsibilities to those individuals that are working with him and for him and their families. His responsibilities to the founding members, those individuals participating with ONPASSIVE. He takes that responsibility very, very, very seriously. I hope I got that through. And he is not going to let one individual come in and demean the name of ONPASSIVE, to hurt the brand of ONPASSIVE, because you have a question you can't answer yet, and you thought you'd come on and tell the world that ONPASSIVE isn't doing their job. It's not going to happen, guys. This is not a threat. This is what's happening, and I want you guys to understand this. It's very, very important. If you do something like that and you demean the market brand of ONPASSIVE, it's not going to hurt ONPASSIVE. We're way, way past that. But Mr. Mufareh isn't going to put up with it. He's done with that. You know, 2-3 years ago, he might let a few things pass. No more. If you think you can come on and do that, you can. You have the ability with free speech to come on and say whatever you want. But you will be gone. Okay? The only one that it's going to impact is you. And again, think about that individual that just went halfway up the mountain, didn't get to that summit that has just a spectacular, awesome view, panoramic view. You can't describe what ONPASSIVE is right now. What I would recommend to you is just be quiet. If you need to talk to somebody, get with one of the top founders in ONPASSIVE. They will be able to answer any questions you have. And if they can't, just wait. It will be answered. As we look at ONPASSIVE, and Ash went over so many things that I can't hit every one of them on this webinar, and I'll give you a place where you can go and get a really in-depth view on what Ash had to say about a lot of different things. But if you have that question, just be still, be quiet for a little while. It will be answered. ONPASSIVE today, we are weeks away from your life changing. Your life changing. That's how close we are. And again, Ash shared all of this with us. He answered all the questions. If you are a founding member, if you are a participant with ONPASSIVE, go on back and listen to the webinar. I've listened to it several times. Yes, I've listened to it more than once. This is my business. It's really important. I understand what Mr. Mufareh is saying, and I do. I get it all. And I even get a little bit more than that. And if you listen very, very closely, you're going to hear things that should just absolutely rock your boat. So, Ash Mufareh last Thursday, he was on fire. He was loaded for bear. It was awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm not going to go over everything, but I would recommend you go over to Marty DeGarmo's Live. I'll have that below this video. And listen to Marty. He goes over a lot of the finer details. He doesn't go over all of them because we can't. And that's the last thing I want to touch. Confidentiality. There were things in last Thursday's webinar that were confidential. You were not supposed to say anything about what Ash shared with you. It was confidential. Now, I have seen online a few places where that confidentiality was broke. Okay? I know Mr. Mufareh. He doesn't do anything by accident. If you think you can break that confidentiality, it's just like going negative. If you think you can break that confidentiality and get away with it, be very, very careful. Again, Ash is not playing right now. And these aren't threats. This is just the reality of the situation. If you're doing something in ONPASSIVE that you shouldn't be doing, don't do it, because Ash will see it, or his people will see it, and there will be consequences. I know people don't like that word, consequences, but it's real. It's life. There will be consequences. So if you want a more expansive picture of what Ash said, going over to Marty's live, he goes over a lot of different things. Very, very good. Marty's always good. Going over there and listen to it. But today, we are in a place where your life is going to change, and it's going to change in weeks. This isn't going to be years and years and no, we're there, guys. ONPASSIVE today, everything that Ash has been talking about over the last 3.5 years, it's a reality. It's a done deal, and we're there. And if you are a founding member, and you can go back and listen to the webinar, you'll understand that very, very quickly. But I'm not going to go into those details. I can't, number one, because this is an open forum. But going over, listen to Marty's live. He goes over a lot of things. And then listen to the webinar if you haven't listened to it. It is unbelievably good. I didn't think Ash could get any better, but every time he comes on a webinar now, he's just better than the last time. And it's really, really refreshing to listen to him, catch his dream, catch his vision, and understand where we're at and where we're going. It's a great thing, guys. So that's it for today. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go on down below, subscribe, click the bell on the right, and as we put more content up, you'll get notifications as it comes up. You're in a special place right now. We are in rarefied air right now. It is so rare, nobody else in the history of humanity has been where we're at today. That's how rare it is. You do not want to miss that. So that's it for today, guys. Have a great week, and we'll absolutely see everybody at a new top. Take care. Bye.